Indian cinema is a world of its own, almost a brilliant industry, both underappreciated or, if appreciated, for the most flimsiest of things. You can't really analyze Indian cinema through lenses of Hollywood or Western cinema. The big ticket commercial Bollywood or Tollywood or any other Indian regional cinema isn't really a Western musical, it is its own category. But then there are story driven Indian cinema, which also encapsulates music, dance, poetry in a very contextual manner that pushes the narrative and story forward, which is often unheard of anywhere outside India and the subcontinent. It is part of Indian music, dance, and art industries, which are inextricably interlinked with Indian film industries. Popular Indian musicians compose music, songs, and pieces, and it's up to the filmmaker's vision how the music varies from being a catchy hook pop to a more profound song. Like in any industry, we have parallel, art house, and experimental cinema that is catered for film students, art communities, and aficionados. Like Hollywood, we have mindless rom-coms and comedies. Then we also have brilliant dramas, to dark comedies, to satire, to different unique genres. Some of the conversations gets overtaken by mindless or over-the-top Indian cinema. But when we see Hollywood or Western cinema, we somehow understand that there are different genres and audience demographics. But why don't really we kind of see India with that lens? Strange. So Indian cinema is so layered and complex that it is so hard for me to pinpoint a straightforward path or a guide to really deep dive. Because of such many only find introduction to Bollywood Hindi rom-coms or just action thrillers. Peering the surface and looking deeper, there is gold, which we Indians know. Another thing with a lot of Indian audiences, we work with extremes. Either make an underrated cinema stand out as masterpiece or just render a brilliant work as this understated affair. So hence a constant struggle to really send good quality cinema for Oscar foreign film contentions. Moving on, let me go through my list. So as a film student and an instructor across North America, I try to be very level-headed in making sure I choose the right movies to recommend to non-Indian audiences. Many Indian peers love to ask if they can have my list for their colleagues and peers who are interested in Indian cinema. So finally, I'm making an Indian cinema list that you can recommend wholeheartedly, and be sure that the person who you are recommending will see the industry in a whole different light altogether. But caution, because I am from North India, majority of my film are mostly Hindi language films, but I have tried to include some non-Hindi language film as well. But as I will explore this list further in different videos, I will be sure to make a comprehending list that also have majority non-Hindi titles as well, kind of also exploring more Indian cinema, also overcoming my biases as a North Indian watcher. But for now on, this is my list. Hope you may agree with this list and find it meaningful to kind of share forward. The Lunchbox, it is a beautifully interwoven tale of true strangers tied by a misplaced lunchbox. It is a beautiful, human, unlikely love story set amidst a beautiful Mumbai backdrop. Lootera, one of the most visually stunning films from India. It is almost a storybook in its treatment, an Indian adaptation of O. Henry's classic short story, The Last Leaf. The music from the film is spellbinding. The Great Indian Kitchen. It is truly a powerful Malayalam language film from Kerala, a slow burn that builds up to the real life sexism and patriarchy embedded often even today. It is so well done. Highway, one of the best road movies I've seen. The music of A. R. Rahman is magical. It is such a unique take on Stockholm Syndrome and childhood traumas. It's riveting cinema. Tamasha, one of my favorite films of all time. It is a quasi play and meta commentary, in my understanding. Very powerful, and I would like to say underrated piece of work. Kumbalangi Nights. This is a gem I discovered which made me fall in love with Malayali cinema. Truly, one of the most beautiful pieces of work I've seen. The story is woven so beautifully. A magical piece of art from Kerala makes me want to explore more Malayalam cinema and other South Indian language films too. Eeb Allay Ooo. I love this movie so much. This is a brilliant indie film capturing the lives of Indian lower classes and working classes with documenting lives of many invisible and absurd jobs around the capital, New Delhi. Dhobi Ghat. Amir Khan is one of the biggest actors in Indian cinema. For him to shed the garb of mass and commercial cinema and produce a story that is considered parallel is fascinating. Love the film, uses Mumbai as a backdrop, astoundingly intricate details of different lives. Mard ko dard nahi hota hai. I wanted to add a quirky film that doesn't take itself really seriously, kind of breaking down the rhythm and helping paint Indian cinema industry with the vast variety that it offers. Such a fun watch. Tumbbad. This is a masterpiece from start to finish. The vision, thematic tones, storyline, thriller, music, and the vibes it offers. It's a haunting thriller of unparalleled quality. Raajneeti. I wanted to introduce this because if you're really deep diving into Indian Hindi cinema, a political drama should also be included. I wouldn't say this is a perfect film, but it is one of the best Indian political family saga, encapsulating strong themes that often Indians immediately recognizes in their socio-political dynamics. Guru. I love this film so much. It is a gem from India's finest filmmaker. It is a story inspired from India's legendary billionaire, and the passion and the fervor displayed in a classic story of a man crossing and coming against all odds from rags to riches. Sarkar, another dark political gangster saga. I recommend this because to be immersed in Indian cinema canon, one must also need to consume and see how the gangster genre in Indian fashion is often personified. Oye Lucky Lucky Oye. This is such a brilliant film. It is a fun ride from start to finish. It is a unique treatment which is unabashed biography of an iconic chore. A chore in Hindi is a con man or is a thief, which is astounding. Masaan. Beautiful, riveting, and poetic in its treatment. Parallel stories intersecting at the end. A small town Indian setting which makes this film come as such a slice of life, and it's the most profoundest of senses when talking about death. Zindagi na Milegi, Doobara. This is one of the most enjoyable Indian movies out there. This is a classic friends reuniting after years. They travel across Spain. It is both immense fun and also deep in its treatment. Kal Hoo Na Ho. I had to include a good old Indian drama of non-resident Indians that is set in New York. It is Shah Rukh Khan in his prime. The film is hilarious, over-the-top, non-stop emotional roller coaster, Bollywood dance numbers. But if I have to recommend a proper Bollywood movie, this is it. Kahaani. It is a film that makes the city a character, which is the city of Kolkata in West Bengal. It is a suspense thriller and it is captivating, charming, and edge of the seat drama. Oh my god, one of the best movies that encapsulates religion and atheism in India. The mass hysteria of religion and godmen to the man of absolute reason. It is one of the best movies that understand religion and spirituality at its heart with really well written satire. Queen. A naive woman finally takes her destiny by going to her honeymoon alone after being dumped by her fiance on the day of their wedding. It is a wild ride and a very powerful, subtle take on being conscious of one's own naivety in the first place. Gangs of Wasseypur 1 and 2. Absolute classic with a cult following. One of the best gangster saga to be told in two parts. It is the Indian counterpart of what Scorsese or Tarantino might do with gangster genre in India. It is an absolute masterpiece. Black. It is beautiful, poignant, poetic cinema by a master filmmaker. It is a love story, a teacher student dynamic that kind of takes shape in a very profound, poetic narration. Shahid. Brilliant film, an indie film. It is at the center of middle class Indian life, lower middle class, I would say, with the trials and tribulations of fighting against the system, being a minority. Rang De Basanti, a youth rebel film parallel with the actual Indian freedom struggle. The shift from this harmless, innocuous joyride of a friend group tail spinning into a chaotic political mess with very high stakes makes it one of the most iconic films of Indian cinema. Taare Zameen Par. It is a rare film in India which centers its attention on a dyslexic child and his trials and tribulations. It is a gem, beautiful and profound, a stark commentary on our education system and parenting. Khosla Ka Ghosla. It is an extremely well done character drama which is conning the con man. It is astounding, fun, and engaging family drama. Haider. This film is an Indian Shakespearean drama. It is Hamlet set in snowy Kashmir with Indian socio-political issues at center. It is poetic, haunting, masterfully done. Three Idiots, a spellbinding college comedy of three friends with a sharp, biting take on the flaws of Indian education system and work culture. One of the best mass appeal comedy films out there.